Cole, thanks so much for having us here today. I mean, it's brilliant to see you and your team in action here at adthera. You and I have known each other for years, and I've followed your career with great interest, from Novartis to Accenture to Sanofi to Kyowa Kirin, and now here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just take me through the journey. I mean, what's brought you here?
It's pre-retirement downsizing, Chris. It's pretty simple. No, I think it was very simple. Is I really wanted to set up a service business from all the experience of both delivering services but buying services that was unencumbered with all the paranoia that goes with buying services in the industry. So I wanted it to be highly transparent. I wanted it to be highly digitized, so it could be real time, the client's intimate part, and therefore looking for partnership. Plus, wanted to remove all the bureaucracy and the heavy lifting that goes with slow decision taking in a bigger corporate environment. And I think that's what we've achieved.
And this is an opportunity, isn't it? When you're building something, I mean, kind of from the ground up, and it's an early stage company, but it has moved very quickly. Mm-hmm. So what are the things you've kind of really focused on to create the adthera that you have today? You know, whether it's culture, whether it's structure, sort of processes. I mean, you know, it's a chance for you to kind of work on a blank sheet in some ways, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's attention to detail in all spaces, right? You need the best people. Let's just be super clear on that. That's a given. High capability, the best people driving a tail challenge. You need a purpose. Your business has to have a purpose to attract people, which you can then build into a shared vision and a collective set of goals and a collective direction. You want a culture that's clearly built. I copied other people's cultures, so I'm a big believer in Lencioni, as you know. So we're doing 5 dysfunctions. We've done all the early stuff to develop our team, Fire OP and Myers-Briggs and derail reports. So we've done this whole personal development dimension. We've done the technical development dimension with direct skill sets with the machinery we use and how we use it. And then, of course, we've done the therapeutic area skill set building as well, right? So it's really about making sure we've got the right offerings in the right way, and we're delivering them in a very transparent and trustworthy way. I like to work an open book with a fixed margin. And again, all the paranoia goes away and you can truly partner that way.
And what's an adthera person?
An adthera person probably fulfills 3 key things for me, right? They're highly authentic. So they come here and want to bring their best selves to work every day, and they want to do that for a purpose. So it's really an authentic direction. And our purpose here is about delivering more cell therapies to more patients, because we believe these things really work. They need to be agile. So they really need to have that plethora of experiences or that willingness to explore more things, from a learning agility to just a personal agility, and how we approach things. Startup life is often a little bit peaks and troughs in terms of activity intensity. And then the final thing is they need appetite. At all levels, you need appetite. You can never be happy with where we are. We constantly need to be improving and pushing internally, and of course, as part of the service that we provide for others.
And Colin, let me ask you a bit about your own transition to adthera, because as you know, I mean, we at Odgers Spencer, we do a lot of work with earlier stage and scaling businesses, and I think it's always really interesting when you hire a CEO, a chief officer of some sort. People from big pharma, from big med tech, they always want to make, or they often want to make the transition to smaller companies. But I suppose the reality, the kind of the mindset, the way you have to work must be quite different. I mean, just some personal reflections on that.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, Chris, my first 10 years was setting up my own small businesses anyway and doing things. So I had that mindset all the way through. And I do think some people like the corporate blanket of shared responsibility, which for me often means no responsibility at all.
That's a safety net, isn't it?
And you need people who really want to own what they're doing and be in a learning team. That criticality of that team dynamic, it's the we, not me. And it's one of my first sort of 2 or 3 questions in an interview is your motivations, because it has to be the we. It has to be, I want to be part of that does X, rather than I do this and I do that and I'm the best and hire me because I. That's going to be a turn off for me right now. So it's about wanting that collective ownership without being offensive to all my friends. A lot of people in corporate life enjoy that anonymity, that being part of the bigger thing. And unfortunately, what they don't realize in today's society is most big companies treat their people as a commodity. Whereas here, we're a family, and it's about being together, doing the right thing in the right way, but critically bringing your best self to work every day, and having an environment, an inclusive environment, as well as a diverse thinking environment that allows you to bring that. The final thing is consistency. You've got to be able to bring that every day. And that's a marathon, not a sprint. So I don't need people who are the conference queen bee, you want the authentic leader who people will give you an authentic answer, so you can go to them and know what you're going to get, rather than someone who's in it for personal fame or personal fortune.
Yeah. And are there ways that you kind of build authenticity? I mean, is it just you have it or you don't, or are there kind of actions you take daily, kind of reminders, a tone you sort of set with your colleagues?
My favorite phrase is, you do the right thing even when no one's looking. If you do the right thing when no one's looking, you're going to be authentic to yourself, be that in a family environment or be that in a professional environment, and hopefully in both.
Yeah.
And as long as you can do that, then I think everything else will follow. You can learn that behavior, but I think a lot of it's as much in your nature as it is in your nurture.
Really exciting story so far. Where is adthera now? And when you think 3, 5, 10 years, where do you want to take this business?
It's fascinating. I mean, we founded the business as Russia invaded Ukraine, as interest rates skyrocketed, and as government gilt started to yield 6.5%, which drove drying up of the biotech investor market. Yeah. So it's been a very challenging time. I think we've weathered the storm with sensible containment plans and watching the bottom line like hawks. So I think we've come out of that. In doing so, we've built a very solid foundation. We didn't spend our idle time being idle. We spent it training and preparing and getting ourselves readiness, devising our QMS and all the other good stuff that we've done behind the scenes. Now it's about securing 1 or 2 anchor clients who we can really grow with and get them through process development, through the clinical development stage, and then into commercial supply, which obviously is an annuity for any CDMO to be aiming for. And of course, critically for us is getting that digital angle to everything, right? Yeah. We're a paperless business. We've started from scratch. And I think that's a lot easier than other businesses which are trying to convert paper to digital. You have to find a way of collecting the data. You have to find a way of agglomerating the data, analyzing it, visualizing it, and then using it. Don't just get all that way through and then not do something about the processes that you're doing. You've got to have that intelligence loop. And I think how we expand that will be the ticket to our success, because it should allow us to scale very rapidly, subject to client demand. We are seeing the demand start to pick up now. Yeah. So now it's about the market recovery, I think.
Yeah. And do you see the talent supply being there? I mean, because obviously you're hiring people with quite specialist skills and backgrounds.
I think the talent's there because there has been some consolidation in the space. I also think there's more molecular biologists and cell and gene therapy graduates and PhDs coming out into the marketplace. It didn't exist 20 years ago, essentially, right? So I think the talent base I'm less stressed about. Getting the best is important. Yeah. So we need to have the client base and the revenue to be able to offer the packages, both financially, but more importantly, I think where we differentiate is the learning that you get in the environment that you work in. Yeah. You know, guys walking around with video headsets, videoing everything, and the little eyepieces where they're following protocols and things. You know, some people could easily see that as the spy within, rather than it's part of our culture around learning. Yeah. We're constantly recording everything. We're constantly catching every data point we can, so we can be critical of ourselves and also learn and grow. Yeah. And if that mindset's not there, we can't grow the business either, because you need people who can come in and adapt into that, which takes me back to the agility, not only the educational status of the people that we're bringing in.
Yeah, and I think this is a point I've come across several times with adthera. You know, there is innovation not only in the science, the product, and the outputs, but actually there's innovation in the way you're building the company, the leadership style and approach, the culture. I mean, you see a lot of businesses where the innovation is entirely kind of front-loaded, but actually working practices and processes are still pretty traditional. But I think you've built both from the ground up, kind of in equal measure.
Yeah, we really tried to bring best of breed, right? So take the bad learnings and try not to repeat them. Don't always succeed, but we try very hard and bring the best that we do. And again, try to learn from what we do. We still do traditional things. We do lunch and learn. Yeah. Lunch and learn is hardly a new invention, but we'll do lunch and learn every week, where we're also training ourselves internally, because we have different levels of expertise inside the organization. We need to share those skills. Yeah. And again, when you have one of the most junior people training the whole organization versus myself or Stuart or Quark or Neil or Pac or one of the XCOM training, it doesn't matter. It's the same validity, be that high-end GMP or incredibly intense science around a PCR or something going on, right? So it's about harnessing traditional things in the right way. Of course, we digitize it also. It's all done with slides, which go into the SharePoint. So if someone misses it, they can go back and see the recording of it. On the same token, we are really trying to keep people very focused on being self-critical for self-improvement, which is part of the videoing and recording everything that we're doing, so that we can go back and constantly keep egging and trying to improve the processes. And that's back to the appetite piece I was talking about earlier, of really trying to drive, never being satisfied, because it's that innovation that will take cell and genes from part of the periphery to mainstream, I think, as we see things improve.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you something a bit more personal. How do you manage stress? You've already touched on like the geopolitical kind of events of the last few years, which have very directly impacted businesses at every level. They've impacted deal flow. These aren't easy jobs at the best of times. They are really not easy jobs at the moment.
That's a great question. So 2 major managerial edicts: do as I say, not as I do, and constantly strive for self-improvement. I think it's a stressful environment. There's just no doubt about it. I do my best to try to find downtime, as you can tell by my svelte figure. I do think trying to exercise and trying to find some me time, which I've not done very well at recently, is an essential and on my to-do list for the summer particularly. And also just encourage everybody, again, to do as I say. It's take the holidays, take the time, and manage workload here, because some things aren't going to get done. Some things are just not going to get done. So we work very much on a sort of a list agenda. You write lists, you write criteria to gauge those lists about, you prioritize them, you draw lines. The stuff above the line will be done, the stuff below the line won't be, and you can't be stressed about the stuff that falls below the line. And it's very difficult to compartmentalize these things, but in a startup environment, everybody's pulling in all directions. You have to have some rules, and that's the only way we can manage it at the moment.